I'm delighted to be here with you this morning, and as another voice in support of marriage equality. I've been a part of this battle and an admirer of One Iowa since the inception, and I rejoice in what we have all been able to accomplish together to enhance the lives of thousands of same-gender couples all over Iowa. I'm a minister who takes his faith very seriously, and that's led me to become involved in many causes which promote principles of peace and justice and equal opportunity and respect for the dignity of all people. I take the Bible very seriously too, as the authentic history of God's people, but not as a weapon to be used by groups in our society to keep other groups in a permanent state of oppression. It's unthinkable to me that the God who created the universe and all of us is so limited that God had nothing more to say to us after the last piece of the Bible was written over 2,000 years ago. Indeed, God continues to speak to us in fresh new ways all the time. If this were not the case, then all good, quote, Bible-believing Christians would still be zealously supporting the practice of slavery, still regarding women as property, and still practicing regular ritual sacrifices of animals on the altar. I think one of the most deliberately misleading practices of our opponents is their attempt to frame this debate as a struggle between Christians or Bible believers on one hand and secular humanists who could care less about the Word of God on the other hand. Nothing could be further from the truth, and I'm determined not to let right-wing zealots lay claim to the term Christian, as though there were only one way to interpret God's will. In the first year in which same-gender marriage was legal in Iowa, somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 couples were united in matrimony. I can tell you from direct experience that a good portion of those marriages took places in church or were performed by clergy of various denominations. All these many months later, the earth hasn't opened up and swallowed us, the sky hasn't fallen, and as more and more Iowans become acquainted with at least one same-gender couple, this issue is clearly on its way to becoming a non-issue. I'm blessed to live and work in a church congregation which includes many same-gender couples, and momentarily you're going to hear from one of those couples. Most of them are parents. All of them are exemplary working professionals, good neighbors, exercise the very best of parenting skills. They're model families, and their examples inspire me every day. The fact of access to legal marriage has meant a great deal to all of them, not just for the legal and financial privileges conferred, but it has led to much healing within families, with co-workers and neighbors who were previously at least skeptical or critical of the whole notion of marriage equality. There are many signs that opposition to same-gender marriage is drying up. We see that movement every day in polls here in Iowa and around the country. So why are we so concerned? Why do we need to stay vigilant, to keep working so hard? I think the basic answer is that our opponents have access to unbelievable sums of money. They're going to spend well over $1 million in Iowa this year, and they're very skilled at instilling fear in large portions of the population. And as Carolyn said, we've seen how that plays out in California and in Maine in their elections. One of the most common arguments, which I totally fail to follow, is that we're destroying the whole institution of marriage, forcing heterosexual couples to lose faith in it. No opponent has ever been able to explain to me just how that comes about. And it's not surprising that in 2009, the Iowa divorce rate actually went down. In fact, if you look at marriage laws and divorce rate statistics around the nation, the thing you will find commonly, universally, is that the institution of marriage is in the greatest danger in those states which most rapidly oppose same-sex marriage. Now, I have to confess that I feel a little bit of discomfort being up here talking about marriage from a religious perspective. Marriage is and should be regulated by government and by civil law, and not by what any group in our society believes might be God's will, or the way in which any religious group wants to interpret the Bible. To me, it all boils down to a simple matter of human justice. In the church where I serve in Southern California, where I live seasonally, there are faithful, committed same-gender couples who have been together for 25 years, 40 years. The couple I just got to know last winter, 52 years, and still unable to marry. They have had children, grandchildren, and in some cases, great-grandchildren. They have brought them up beautifully. They have mentored them. They are perfect model families. But that couple, who had been together 52 years without benefit of marriage, told me not long ago about their next-door neighbors. A young couple who met one Friday night at a bar in Las Vegas, spent the weekend together in a hotel, took out a marriage license on Monday, and were legally married within a week after their meeting. Where, I ask, is the justice in that set of situations? Yes, the people of Iowa took a great positive step in April of last year, but there's so much hard work yet to do in protecting that proud advance. I'm dedicated to continuing my work for the cause of marriage equality for as long as we need to keep protecting it. And I hope every one of you will join me in whatever way you possibly can. Thank you.